Hey there everyone and welcome back to another devlog. I'm your host Cherry and let's get into the video. Let's start with a problem I had recently. If you have watched the previous devlog, you will know that I have modified the dev system a bit to make it more forgiving, aka more fun and playable. The problem I ran into it afterwards was the fact that my player dies without a reason every time they enter the game for the first time. Well, to fix it I did something which in Poland we will gracefully call dupa debugging, which literally translates to ass debugging. That means that I just spam debug messages everywhere and see which ones appear and which one don't, and I found that I die due to time, aka I get killed by touching bad terrain for too long. I was very confused about it since the player, when they respawn, they always spawn on the safe surface, but I did some research and I found that Unity has collision issues if the scene is not completely loaded. So that's why I added a loading screen which prevents the player from appearing until the scene is fully loaded. That sadly didn't help initially and the loading screen was super short. Well, I artificially lengthened it by 0.5 seconds and that fixed it. It still happens if I go into the game skipping the loading screen, but in normal game it won't appear. Secondly, I was working on adding a wind burst mechanic. It is an ability you unlock later on in the game and it allows you to do a short burst of fast wind. It creates some funky platforming and I love how chaotic and weird it can be. Either way, the problem with this one was, well, my old code sucks and I had to integrate into it. One major problem I had is that I have 4 brain cells and 2 of them are not working until 3 AM, so I actually have 2 functional brain cells most of the time. Many scientists refer to this condition as immense stupidity. I did not comment what exactly my code does, hence I spent straight up 40 minutes decoding what it does. I now have mentioned that you should do it in the workflow tutorial I posted recently. It is a thing that I've been doing for a while, but back then I wasn't commenting enough. I also have run into multiple problems like the dash launching me like 10,000 tiles above, but well, after a few minutes of debugging it was fixed and now I have a functional burst. It is a cool mechanic that allows for funky platforming like resetting dash mid-air so you can not waste your stamina to actually change direction because it uses way less stamina and it's just a cool feature. And one more cool concept that came from one of the commenters who wanted to stay anonymous, which I will respect. Either way, the idea was a desert area. It is going to have extra permanent sandstorms which will push the player constantly, well, unless behind cover, but you get the point. I have run into many issues while making this. I'm not going to go into detail what they were because it's just some essential coding stuff that is boring as hell. All you need to know is that somehow decreasing the gravity force was the thing that fixed the issue. So now in this area player is less affected by gravity but way more. It's basically like switching the gravity direction. And one more cool thing about that feature is that you can actually have a varying wind during the certain area. For example, in this location the wind changes from blowing to the right direction to straight up blowing to down, which you know isn't realistic, but it is very fun and it can create a really cool level design. By the way, there is a huge sale going on in the Unity Asset Store right now, where some assets are up to 50% off, and these assets are actually really good, and I think I will be purchasing some even by myself. These assets have been chosen by Unity affiliates like me, and they are all really good. So if you're purchasing anything, use my link from the description below. It costs you nothing and it helps me out a ton. And you know, making levels here is very difficult due to the fact that the tile map is actually really complex. It might not look like it, but it is actually very complex if it comes to slopes. That's what makes it impossible to actually generate it automatically, and even if it is possible, it's way out of my skill level. The way that I create this is basically I manually place everything, so just understand how much effort it takes. All of the time lapses that are actually shown on the videos are sped up by 10 to 100 times. And yeah, it takes a long time to create even a single level. It takes over 20 to 30 hours to actually create a good level. Even after automating actually placing decorations and everything, it still takes a ton of time, so please bear with me. And the final thing that I have changed is the fact that I improved the entire text system. Previously there were some problems with readability because of how the text moved around on the screen, but right now I have made it so it just stays permanently stuck in the same place where it appeared, so it just won't be as annoying to read as before. It's a very simple fix that works by having a secondary invisible text object that will basically have the entire text that will be shown stored in it, so it actually can pull the correct font size because it will automatically scale to it, and the correct text that's visible pulls the font size from the invisible text. That way the text will be scaled properly and won't go out of the said range. And if you could comment anything on this video, like what's your favorite game or what do you think would be cool for the game, please do. It will really help me out a ton because YouTube has been cutting my reaches recently and they really like comments, so please comment anything. What's your favorite game? What's your favorite color? And just, yeah, hope you enjoyed. Have a nice one. Bye.